All right, well, I have a lot of things to do today, but what I'm gonna get started off with doing is feeding the baby goats. They have to be fed. Puppies, I got your pool filled up. Come over here. All right, well, I've fed the goaties now, and it's time to get to the other projects I have. Here's something I've been working on. I've been adding some rocks and gravel and wood chips around my koi pond to make it look better. And I just planted a bunch of potatoes. My plan is to build an 8-foot by 8-foot house, or not really a house, more like a shed. My plans for it is I am going to, the floor is gonna be 8 feet by 8 feet. I'm going to have a loft 6 feet above the floor, and then, and I'm planning on having the whole front of the house open in the summer. That leaves it so that makes it so I can be in the middle of my garden and watch everything. And with the front open, it'll make it so that it's kind of like living in a tent. I really liked just living kind of out in the open in a tent. So I want to make this as open as I can. I'm planning on putting on a lot of windows in, and then I want the whole front open. So it'll be really nice that way. But, so I leveled off a pad and I laid down my bricks. I laid down some bricks, and then I put 4x4s over them, and right now I'm gonna put the floor in. So this is my pad. I have gotten it completely level, and then I laid 3 bricks down on each side, 1 foot from the edge. So there's a 1 foot gap from the floor to the 4x4, and then I did the same thing on the other side. And I laid 4x4s over that. So I have everything leveled out. I have my 2 8-foot 4x4s laid out, and I'm going to put a 8-foot 2x4 on each end, leaving 1 foot from the tip to the 4x4. For the floor, you're gonna need a total of 9 8-foot dimensional 2x4s. These 2 end pieces right here, we're gonna leave at 8 feet exactly. But all of the rest of our 2x4s, we're gonna cut 3 inches off the end, and I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, so first step is to make sure that your end 2x4 is lined up with your 4x4, and then I'm also gonna make sure that it's 1 foot. It's 1 foot from the 4x4 to the 2x4 end. And it looks like we're good. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna do that yet, because we still have to nail it in. Here, let me show you what nails I'm using. I'm going to be using, for the framing, I'm going to be using framing box nails. I'm going to be using for this bottom part on the 2x4s, I'm going to be using framing box nails. These are galvanized, and they are 3.5 inches. Okay, again, we're just cutting off 3 inches on all of the 8-foot 2x4s except 2 of them. Okay, so I cut all of these, all 7 of these 2x4s 3 inches shorter, and now I'll tell you why. So these 2 inboards we're just leaving them at 8 feet. But then we're also gonna have the boards that go in between them. And they need to be 3 inches short because each one of the 2x4s on the end is 1.5 inches. And then I guess we could call them ribs that go on the inside of it. They're also going to need to be 1.5 inches. They're also going to need to be need to be 3 inches short because of the 2x4s on either side of them. Okay, next to the framing part. So how are we gonna do this? I already told you how we're gonna put the end pieces on and the side pieces on, but the pieces in the middle, this is how we're going to do it. I am going to measure from the edge of the outer board right here, 16 inches to the center of the next board. And then from the center of that board, I'm gonna measure 16 inches to the next center. And then once we get to the last board, I'm gonna measure 16 inches from the center of that board to the outer edge of that board. But another important thing is we need to make sure that the board in the center is exactly at 4 feet in the center. Okay, now I'm just going to hammer that in. And then once you get done with that side, go ahead and do the same thing with all the rest of the corners. All right, well, now that's done, the next step is going to be putting in at an angle nails into the 2x4 to anchor it into these 4x4s.